Most people over 50 believe they already understand which habits keep them healthy. They think they know what's safe, what's normal, and what they should keep doing every day. But what if one of the most common habits among adults ages 65 to 80 something so ordinary that you barely notice when you do it is silently harming your health? And what if the real danger in the habit itself, but the slow, invisible chain reaction it triggers over months and years? Before we reveal what this actually is, you need to understand why so many seniors fall into the same trap. Because the story doesn't begin at 65. It doesn't even begin at 50. It begins decades earlier, in early adulthood, when the body is strong enough to hide mistakes and flexible enough to cover up the consequences. You can stay up late, skip meals, sit for hours, ignore aches, and still wake up feeling fine. Every young adult thinks their body is resilient, and it is, but not forever. Researchers from multiple American health institutes have noted that the foundation for age-related decline is often built long before symptoms appear. Small habits, repeated choices, the slow accumulation of neglect. Then the 40s arrive, the quiet decade of unnoticed change. This is when the body begins its subtle decline. Energy isn't the same, recovery is slower. Inflammation rises, but silently, hormones shift, circulation weakens a little, muscles shrink without you noticing. According to national survey data, adults in their 40s spend more time sitting than any previous generation, a pattern that worsens health outcomes later. But because nothing dramatic happens yet, most people assume they're fine. By the time people cross 50, the shift has already begun, but almost everyone ignores it. The brain adapts to feeling a little off, joints feel stiff only in the morning, sleep is lighter, but still tolerable. Blood sugar creeps upward but stays within range. Most adults tell themselves it's normal aging. But medical researchers point out that this stage is the turning point when the habits you carry from your 40s begin interacting with the biological changes happening in your 50s. The body becomes less forgiving, but the mind still acts like it's 35. Then comes 65, the breaking point. This is when the quiet changes from the last 3 decades suddenly matter. But here's the twist. Millions of Americans ages 65 to 80 unknowingly continue a habit that accelerates these changes, something so simple, so common, so deeply ingrained that almost no one questions it. And that habit is excessive sitting. Not just sitting itself, everyone sits, but the long, uninterrupted stretches of stillness that many seniors assume are harmless. Hours spent in recliners, long periods watching TV, reading in the same position, scrolling on a tablet, sitting during meals, sitting after meals, sitting because moving feels tiring. According to the CDC, adults over 65 are the most sedentary age group in America, with more than half spending over 8.5 hours per day sitting. And research from U.S. aging studies shows that prolonged daily sitting is linked to higher inflammation, weaker circulation, faster muscle loss, reduced balance, and increased risk of chronic conditions. But this is where the mystery deepens. Most seniors don't feel the damage until it's already happening. Sitting doesn't hurt. It doesn't sting. It doesn't warn you. It just slowly alters the systems that protect your health. Blood flow decreases, muscles weaken, metabolism slows. And as a result, every other risk, heart issues, mobility decline, diabetes, cognitive changes rises quietly in the background. Once the problem becomes visible, the fallout has already spread. A senior who sits for long stretches becomes more fatigued. Fatigue reduces movement. Reduced movement weakens muscles. Weak muscles lead to instability. Instability leads to a fall. And according to U.S. hospital data, falls are one of the top causes of injury and medical costs for older adults. What starts as innocent stillness becomes a chain reaction that affects health, finances, independence, and daily confidence. But what do most seniors do when they start feeling stiff, tired, or unsteady? They rely on old advice that no longer fits. They try to take it easy. They rest more. They cut back on walking. They avoid stairs. They spend more time in their favorite chair. They do exactly what feels comfortable and exactly what accelerates the problem. This is the part no one warns people about. Comfort becomes dangerous after 65. Across millions of seniors in the United States, the same pattern repeats. Long sitting periods break down strength. Weakness reduces mobility. Reduced mobility increases sitting. It's a loop that tightens year after year. So, what should someone aged 65 to 80 stop doing immediately? Stop sitting for long, uninterrupted periods. Stop assuming rest is the safest default. Stop believing that stillness protects you. Because the science is clear, the body ages fastest when it stops moving. And now that you understand the timeline, the fallout, and the cause and effect pattern, here are 3 direct actions people over 50 can apply starting today. First, break sitting periods every 30 to 45 minutes. You don't need a workout, just 60 seconds of standing, stretching, or walking to the kitchen is enough to reactivate circulation and lower inflammation. Second, strengthen your lower body at least 3 times a week. Chair stands, calf raises, and step-ups can rebuild the protective muscle that sitting erodes. Studies show that even light strength training significantly lowers the risks associated with prolonged sitting. Third, change your environment, not just your habits. Place items in your home that require small movements, water bottles across the room, books on higher shelves, plants that need checking so movement becomes automatic instead of optional. But here is the evidence-based warning. Prolonged sitting after 65 is not neutral. It is biologically active. It accelerates decline even in people who feel healthy. And the longer you wait to break the pattern, the harder it becomes to reverse. I leave you with one thought that sets up the next video. The most dangerous habits for seniors are never the dramatic ones, they are the quiet ones, the comfortable ones, the ones you barely notice until they shape your entire future. If you want to discover the next silent habit that researchers say affects 7 out of 10 seniors, but almost nobody talks about, make sure you subscribe. The next chapter reveals the hidden trigger that ages the brain faster than time itself.